It was a quiet night. The stars were out, and the city lights flickered below the dark sky. Ray walked alone on the empty street, heading home after a long shift at the factory. His bag hung over one shoulder, and his shoes made soft tapping. Sounds on the sidewalk. He didn't expect anything strange to happen tonight, but something strange did happen. As Ray turned the corner near the old bookstore, he saw someone standing in the middle of the road. A girl, but not an ordinary girl. Her skin was pale silver, like moonlight. Her long hair floated as if it was moving in water, even though there was no wind. Her eyes, they glowed softly, like stars trapped inside them. Ray stopped walking. She stood perfectly still, staring straight at him. And then she said it. "Ray." He froze. How do you know my name?" he asked, his voice shaking a little. She didn't answer at first. She took a step forward. Her long dress, shining like glass, barely touched the ground. She looked calm, but her eyes held something more: urgency, desperation. Then she spoke again. "I need you." Ray took a step back. "What? Who are you? What do you mean?" The girl didn't blink. Her glowing eyes locked on his. "There is no time. They will find me soon, and they will hurt you too. I need to take you now." Ray looked around, half expecting a camera crew or someone playing a joke. But the street was empty. Too empty. He couldn't even hear the wind anymore. "Look," he said nervously. "If this is some kind of prank." Suddenly, the air around him shimmered. A warm light surrounded the girl, and then spread toward him like gentle waves. He tried to move, to run, but his legs felt heavy like stone. "Wait, what are you doing?" Ray shouted. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "But I have no choice." The light became brighter, wrapping around his body. Ray's heart pounded in his chest. The last thing he saw before the world vanished was the silver-eyed girl reaching out her hand. Everything went white. Ray woke up gasping. His body felt light, almost floating. He looked around in panic. He was no longer on the street. He was inside a strange glowing room. The walls were smooth and white, curved like inside a giant egg. Strange lights blinked above him, and soft humming sounds filled the air. He sat up quickly, still breathing hard. "Where am I?" Then he saw her. The alien girl stood at the far end of the room, her hands folded in front of her. Her silver hair glowed under the soft lights. She was watching him, but this time she looked tired, even scared. "You?" Ray whispered. She nodded. "Yes, you're safe now." "Safe? From what? What is this place? Did you take me? Am I on a spaceship?" "Yes," she said calmly. "And yes, I had to." Ray stared at her, trying to understand. "You kidnapped me?" Her eyes filled with guilt. "I didn't want to, but I had no other choice. If I left you there, they would have found you." Who's they?" The girl didn't answer immediately. She walked closer and sat across from him. "You don't know it yet, Ray. But you're important. Very important. And that makes you a target." Ray laughed once, nervously. "I work in a factory. I'm not important. I'm just a normal guy." She shook her head. "Not to me, not to them." Ray rubbed his face. "This has to be a dream." "It's not," she said. "I wish it were." He looked at her again, really looked. She didn't seem like she was lying. Her face was calm but serious. There were small scars near her neck, barely visible. She looked like someone who had been running for a long time. "What's your name?" he asked finally. She smiled a little. "Zara." "Okay, Zara, what do you want from me?" Her eyes met his, steady and honest. "Your help, but more than that, your presence. Just being near me keeps me safe." "That doesn't make any sense," Ray muttered. "I know, but I'll explain soon," she said. "Right now we must leave this area. They might have tracked my jump." Ray stood up slowly. So I really am in space right now? Zara nodded. Yes, far from Earth. Ray took a deep breath. He should be screaming. He should be panicking, but somehow the fear was fading. Maybe it was the calm in her voice. Maybe it was the way. She said his name like she already knew him, but deep inside, he felt something. This wasn't just about her. Something much bigger was coming. Ray was floating again. He couldn't feel the ground under his feet. Instead, soft pulses of light moved under him like waves. He was inside another room, larger than before. The walls changed colors, blue, purple, white, without warning. And the strangest thing? There was no door. He spun around slowly. Zara? He called out. No answer. The room was silent. But not empty. In the center stood a glowing crystal the size of a tree trunk floating in the air. It pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and deep. Boom. Boom, boom. Ray stepped closer, drawn to it. Without knowing why, then the voice came not from his ears, but from inside his head. Human code accepted. Linking pattern complete. Ray stumbled back, eyes wide. What? Who said that? Suddenly, the walls faded into black. Stars filled the space around him. Galaxies swirled. It felt like he was standing in the middle of space itself, but still. Breathing, still safe. Then Zara appeared, stepping out of the shadows. You touched it, she said softly. What is it? Ray asked. What's happening to me? Zara walked toward him, her face pale but calm. The crystal responds only to certain living codes. Yours is one of them. Ray stared at her. You still haven't told me why I'm here. Why me? Why not someone stronger, smarter, more, anything? Zara paused. Then she raised her hand and, with a flick of her fingers, created a small floating screen. It showed his face, but not just now. It showed Ray as a baby, then as a boy, then a teen. Every moment of his life, Ray's breath caught in his throat. How do you have this? Because, Zara said quietly, you were marked. At birth. Marked. By who? By them, she said. And now they're coming. Ray turned toward her, confused and angry. What is going on? You took me from Earth. You say I'm important. But none of this makes sense. Zara looked down, then met his eyes. I'll tell you everything. But first, you need to understand this. You're not just some man from Earth. You're the last link to a power my enemies fear. That's why they want you gone. Ray was silent. Then he said, you didn't choose me, because you liked me. You chose me because of what's in my blood. Zara didn't flinch. Yes, at first. Ray felt cold. So I'm just a key, a tool. She stepped closer. I needed you. Because you are the only one who can help me reach the core. But I came for you. Because I saw your file. I saw your kindness. I saw your pain. And I thought, maybe you wouldn't run from me. Ray looked away. This is too much. Just then, a sharp beep echoed in the room. Red lights flashed. Zara's calm face turned pale. They found us, she whispered. Who? The ones who want you dead before you remember who you truly are. The room shook. Ray lost his balance as alarm screamed around them. Come. Zara grabbed his hand and ran toward a panel that opened from the floor. A small pod rose from below. You said there's no door. Ray yelled. There wasn't. Until now. She shoved him into the pod. If we split up, they won't catch us both. What? No. I'm not leaving you. You must, she said, eyes glowing fiercely. The pod will take you to a safe. Moon, wait there. I'll find you. The pod doors began to close. Ray reached out, grabbing her arm. You better. Because I still want answers. Zara gave him a faint smile. And I still need you. The pod closed. Lights blinked. Then boom. It shot into space, spinning away from the shaking ship. Ray pressed his hands against the glass. He could still see the ship getting smaller. And 3 dark enemy crafts closing in on it. Zara. he whispered. Ray opened his eyes to green light, but it wasn't sunlight. It came from the sky, which was not blue like Earth's, but a glowing jade color. Floating lights like giant fireflies moved above him. Strange trees rose around him, tall, purple, and twisted like corkscrews. He sat up slowly. The escape pod had landed in a field of soft, glowing grass. The air smelled sweet, like fruit, and it was strangely warm. Even though the wind blew cold, Ray looked around. No signs of Zera, no signs of the enemy ships. No sounds of birds, only a soft hum from the plants themselves. He stood and took a shaky breath. Where the hell am I? Suddenly, a whispering voice echoed behind him. You shouldn't be here. Ray spun around. No one. He checked the pods. Control panel. It was dark, drained of power. Trapped. Great. Then, the ground beneath him shifted. Not an earthquake, movement. He looked down and saw the grass pulling away from his boots. The ground opened. Ray fell. He landed hard, but not on rocks. It was a smooth tunnel made of stone and glass, with glowing patterns running along the walls. The tunnel pulled him forward like a slide until he hit the bottom with a grunt. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Slow, heavy ones. Ray ducked behind a curve in the wall. A tall figure walked past 6 arms, skin like melted bronze, and no face. Just a smooth mask with blinking lights. A robot? A guard? Ray held his breath. The thing didn't stop. It walked past, silent. Once it was gone, Ray moved forward carefully. He didn't know where he was, but every wall was covered in the same symbol. A human hand holding a glowing star. It looked familiar. Too familiar. That's when a voice came from above. Zera's voice. Ray, can you hear me? He looked up. A small blue light floated in the air. Zera's voice came from it. Zera, I'm here. I'm okay, I think. What is this place? Her voice was quick, urgent. You're in the underground chambers of planet Varela. It's an ancient place. It belonged to my ancestors. Ray touched one of the glowing symbols. Why are there pictures of humans here? Zera was silent for a moment. Then she said, because your kind helped build it. Long ago. Ray froze. What? This planet Varela was once a shared world. My people and yours worked together before Earth forgot. Ray's heart raced. You're telling me humans came here? Before? How? When? I don't know everything, Zera said. But what I do know is this. Your blood carries a memory code. It can unlock something hidden here, something my enemies want to destroy. What kind of something? He asked, but Zera didn't answer. The blue light blinked out. Then came a new sound. Click, click. He turned around. The robot from before was back, but this time it wasn't alone. 2 more had joined it. Their eyes glowed red. They had found him. Ray ran. He ran through the tunnels, heart pounding, ducking under low arches and jumping over glowing pools. The robots followed fast. They didn't speak. They didn't shout. They just chased. Finally, Ray turned into a chamber huge and round like the inside of a dome. In the center stood a tall stone chair, and floating above it, a glowing cube. The cube pulsed when Ray entered. The moment he stepped closer, it spoke in the same voice he had heard before. DNA pattern confirmed. Human Guardian recognized. A beam of light hit his chest. Ray felt warmth spread through his body. His mind filled with flashes, images of tall alien towers, wars, fire, peace treaties, signed by both human and alien hands. And a name, Project Core Light. Ray gasped, falling to one knee. The robots entered the chamber. They paused, almost confused. Then the cube spoke again. Access granted. Defense activated. The walls lit up. Thin beams of energy shot out and struck the robots, freezing them in place. Ray stood, weak but breathing. He looked at the cube. What are you? The cube pulsed softly, almost like it understood. You are the key. And the world is waiting. The sky was burning. Ray stood at the edge of a cliff, eyes wide as rivers of glowing red lava flowed below. The air shook with heat. Flames cracked through the ground like veins. Black smoke curled into the glowing green sky. Behind him, the tunnel entrance exploded. Ray didn't look back. He just ran. "Zara! Where are you?" he shouted over the roar of fire. A sleek silver ship appeared from the smoke, flying low. Its hatch opened, and there she was. "Jump!" Zara screamed. Ray didn't hesitate. He leaped. The ground crumbled behind him, but Zara caught his hand just in time and pulled him inside. Boom! The ship shot forward as the cliff collapsed into the lava below. Ray lay on the cold floor, panting. "You sure know how to make an entrance," Zara smirked. "And you're getting better at jumping into danger." He looked up at her. "Those robots, they were trying to kill me." "They're called seeker units," she said, closing the hatch. "They don't stop, not until the target is erased." Ray stood slowly. "And now I'm the target," Zara nodded. "Because now you've been activated." Ray glanced out the window. The burning planet faded behind them as stars stretched ahead. "I need to know what's happening," he said. "I saw something, the cube. It showed me visions, Project Corelight." Zara looked surprised. "Then it's true. You are the key." "Key to what?" "To waking the old systems," she said. "The ones that can end the war or start a new one." Ray's head hurt. "And what happens now?" She walked to the front panel. "Now we go where no one follows, through the ice rings of Drellin." The ship entered a frozen zone of space. Giant crystal rings floated around a dead moon, spinning slowly. The cold was so intense it made the metal walls creak. Suddenly, alarms rang. Zara's eyes narrowed. "They're here already. 2 ships on our trail." Ray looked at the screen. "Enemy ships, fast. Armed." Zara pushed buttons fast. "We'll have to go through the storm." "What storm?" She pointed ahead. A swirling wall of white mist rose before them, huge, violent, and full of flashing ice. Ray's jaw dropped. "You want to fly through that?" Zara didn't answer. She flew straight into it. Inside the storm, it was chaos. Ice slammed against the ship's shield. Winds howled like wild beasts. Lightning bolts made the ship shake. Ray held onto the seat. "We're going to freeze or crash." Zara gritted her teeth. "Hold on, Ray. This is where many die." "But we won't." A huge chunk of frozen rock spun in front of them. "Zara!" She twisted the ship sideways, barely missing it. The enemy ships weren't so lucky. One crashed into the rock. The second ship kept chasing. Zara whispered, "Time to use what the humans left behind." She pulled a glowing crystal from her pocket. The one Ray had touched. It pulsed in her hand. She placed it into a slot on the control panel. The ship changed. Its lights turned golden. The engines glowed brighter. A symbol, the hand and star, appeared on the screen. Zara smiled. "Now your ship is awake." Ray stared. "My ship?" The ship responded to his voice. "Ray Ellis, human guardian, control linked." Zara looked at him. "Take the controls." Ray panicked. "I don't know how to fly." "You don't have to, just trust it." Ray touched the glowing panel. The ship moved faster, smoother, like it was thinking with him. The enemy ship behind them struggled in the storm. Ray whispered, "Let's finish this." The ship responded, launching a bright pulse of light. Boom! The last enemy ship was gone. Silence returned. They floated through the storm, untouched. Ray let go of the controls, breathless. Did I do that?" Zara nodded, eyes shining. "Yes, and there's more where that came from." He leaned back in the chair, heart still racing. "This is insane." She looked at him, voice soft. "You've only just begun, Ray." Ray couldn't sleep, even inside the safety of the ship. With soft lights and silent stars outside the window, something twisted in his chest. Not fear, not confusion. It was doubt. He sat near the window, watching distant planets drift by like glowing marbles in the dark. Behind him, Zara stood silently. She had been quiet for hours. Ray finally spoke, without turning around. There's something you're not telling me. Zara didn't answer at first. Then, quietly she said, yes. Ray turned slowly. So it's true. She looked down, silver hair falling over her face. I didn't want you to find out. Like this. Find out what? Ray asked, standing up. That I'm some tool you need, that I'm just part of a machine? No, she said quickly. It's not like that. Then what is it? His voice cracked, not from anger, but from something else. Tell me. Zara walked over to a hidden panel on the wall. With a touch, she opened it. Inside was a glowing sphere, locked in a glass container. Ray stepped closer. Inside the sphere was his face, frozen, sleeping, perfectly still. He staggered back. What is that? A memory copy, Zara said. Taken from your DNA. It's not a clone. It's not alive, but it holds your past. All of it. Ray stared at her. Why? Would you do that? Because, she said, tears forming in her silver eyes. If something happened to you, I needed a way to remember you. To show the others what you truly are. Ray's voice shook. The others? Zara nodded. You're not the first. But you may be the last. What does that mean? Ray demanded. Zeru finally told him. There were other humans before you long ago. From Earth, they came through ancient portals. They helped my people build wonders, stop wars, heal the sick. But one by one, they were hunted. Erased. Ray's heartbeat pounded. You said I was marked, he whispered. Was I chosen before I was even born? Zara nodded slowly. Yes, the core chose your bloodline centuries ago. But your world forgot. Now you're the only one left with the code. Ray sat down hard. So you didn't just need me. You were looking for me. Yes, she said softly. I've searched for you my whole life. He looked up. And you never told me. I was afraid, she said, that if I told you, you'd leave. He was silent for a long moment. Then he asked, and what if I had left? She looked him in the eyes. I still would have protected you, even from a distance. Suddenly, the ship's lights turned red. An alarm echoed. Ray stood quickly. What now? Zara moved to the console. Her fingers flew over the controls. We've been tracked again. How? We were hidden. Someone betrayed us, she whispered. The screen showed a signal flashing rapidly. Ray recognized the symbol. It was the same hand and star he had seen on the underground walls, but now it was broken, split down the middle. Ray said slowly, that's not a tracker. That's a warning. Zara's eyes widened. You're right. Ray grabbed her hand. We have to leave now. No, she said, not yet. She touched the console, and the ship started to descend. To where? Ray asked. To the one place even I was afraid to return, she whispered. The vault. Ray frowned. What vault? Zara answered with a single word, Earth. Ray stood in the middle of a ruined city. But this wasn't Earth. It looked like Earth, felt like Earth, but everything was slightly off. The sky was too bright. The buildings were too quiet. No wind, no birds, no life. Just old machines humming in the dark. This is a memory world, Zara said quietly, walking beside him. Ray frowned. A what? A place built from your ancestors' minds, their thoughts, their fears, their strength. It remembers everything. They were, and tests anyone who enters. Ray looked around. Why bring me here now? Because you're about to be hunted. And I need to know if your heart is ready, not just your blood. Before he could answer, a deep sound rumbled through the city. Like thunder, but slower, heavier. Zara froze. They're here. From the shadows came three tall shapes, dark armor, glowing red eyes, long arms with blades for fingers. The Seekers. Ray stepped back, but they were already moving. Zara pulled out a small disc and threw it in the air. A shield of light snapped around them. "They'll break through in seconds," she said. Ray's eyes scanned the buildings. He spotted a glowing sign, an old human symbol carved into metal, a hand over a heart. He didn't know why, but it called to him. He ran toward it. "Ray, wait!" Zara shouted. He reached the building and slammed his hand against the door. The metal glowed and opened. Inside. It was quiet, clean. A white chamber with a stone platform, and a message appeared on the wall. "Only one who leads by heart may wield the spark," Ray whispered. "Spark?" The floor opened. A single blade floated up, old, cracked, and glowing faintly with golden light. The Seekers burst through the outer walls. Zara cried out, fighting them off. Ray grabbed the blade. It didn't feel like a weapon. It felt like memory. Suddenly, he saw flashes: his childhood, his pain, his kindness, his father's smile, his mother's voice. And then images of ancient humans standing beside aliens, fighting for peace. The blade burned in his hand, but he held on. When he stepped outside again, the Seekers paused. They recognized the weapon. Zara stared in shock. "Ray, you activated it?" He nodded. "No more running." The first Seeker charged. Ray raised the blade. It glowed brighter. He didn't know how to fight, but his heart moved first. He dodged, slid under its attack, and slashed upward. The Seeker fell in sparks and ash. The second one attacked from above. Zara tried to block it, but Ray was faster. He jumped, blade forward, and struck the Seeker mid-air. It shattered. The last one hesitated. Its eyes flickered. Ray stepped forward, breathing hard. "Go back to your masters. Tell them the human isn't weak." The Seeker turned and ran. Zara walked up to Ray, still stunned. "No one has done that in centuries." Ray looked at the cracked blade. "I didn't do it alone," she smiled. "No, but you led with your heart. And that's what the core needs." Ray looked up at the strange sky. "So what now?" Zara looked serious again. "Now we go to the core itself. But once we get there, there's no turning back." Ray nodded. "I didn't come this far to run." Back on the ship, Ray placed the blade into a hidden slot. It pulsed once, then opened a star map. One path glowed gold. Zara whispered, "That's it. The center of the galaxy. Where the war began, and where it must end." Ray looked at the map, then he looked at her. "I'm ready." The stars were silent. Ray stood at the edge of the galaxy on a floating platform made of light. Below him was nothing but a golden void. Above him, the core. It was not a machine. It was not a weapon. It was a living force, like a giant heartbeat made of energy and memory. Beside him stood Zara, her eyes glowing faintly, her silver hair blowing in a wind that came from nowhere. They had made it, but they weren't alone. A shadow moved through the air behind them. A tall figure stepped forward, cloaked in black metal, with 6 glowing red eyes. A voice rang out, low and deep, "Step away, human. You do not understand what you hold." Ray turned, holding the ancient blade. "I understand enough. You're afraid of me." The figure laughed. "I am not afraid of you. I fear what your heart may unlock." Zara stepped beside Ray. "It's over." He passed every trial. But the figure raised his hand and the entire platform began to tremble. "You may open the core," the enemy said, "but it will cost you everything." Ray looked at Zara. "What does he mean?" She didn't answer right away. Then, with tears in her eyes, she said, "To awaken the core fully, one of us must stay behind, forever." Ray's heart dropped. "Zara, step forward. I was always meant to be the one." "No." Ray grabbed her hand. "There has to be another way." She smiled softly. "This was never about saving just me. It was about saving everyone, my people, yours." Ray looked at the golden light before them, the final gate to the core. He looked at the blade, and then he did something Zara never expected. He broke it. The blade shattered in his hands, and the pieces turned into glowing threads of light, swirling upward into the core's heart. Zara gasped. "Ray, what have you done?" Ray stepped forward. "I gave it what it really needed. A choice. Made from love, not war, not sacrifice, just truth." The core pulsed. Then opened. A wave of golden light spread through the galaxy. Ship stopped mid-flight. Weapons melted into dust. War engines froze. All systems across all sides shut down, and then restarted. But not for destruction, for healing. Ray and Zara found themselves standing in a green field. The platform was gone. The core had vanished. The galaxy was changed. Zara looked at him confused. "You didn't die. I didn't vanish." "We're still here," Ray smiled. "Maybe because the core didn't want death. It wanted something no one had given it before." Zara tilted her head. "And what was that?" Ray reached for her hand. "Hope." She laughed softly and leaned her head on his shoulder. "I knew I chose the right human." He smiled. "No. I think you were chosen for me too." Months later. On a green world where both humans and aliens now lived together, Ray helped a group of young alien children learn how to plant earth flowers. Zara watched from a distance, smiling. She wasn't just a princess anymore. She was home, and beside her stood the one man the galaxy had once called ordinary. The one she had once told, "I need you." Now she simply said, "Thank you."